Good morning. The title of the video should be just Deja Vu, another inline print, PPI this morning. Uh, as I've been saying for quite a while, Wall Street has inflation rate pegged. Uh, so far, it's just so if there's, something that would be really outsized, it's going to upset the apple cart. So I was out yesterday evening with a family matter, so I did not get to capture my, normal end of the day pictures, so we'll just go right into what the profile structure looks like at the end of yesterday. So we had some single prints formed to the downside for the Russell. Uh, you had the basically everything was in a neutral stance. The Russell was just neutral on it, with down action as far as profile is concerned, leaving those single prints. The VAs are very small in range. That means they can potentially trade multiple times before, you know, picking a direction out of it if you are going to pick a direction out of it. Uh, Otherwise, it's more the same. Currently, we do have a quarter of a point rate cut priced in on December 18th, and then that's gonna change. That's a month away, so we're gonna you know battle back and forth with that. But after that, there's really only one rate cut for the next year on as far as that's priced in with at least a 75% certainty at this point in time. So that'll be interesting to watch. Keep in mind the big news event for today that's left on the books, right? We're going to have, you know, Barker is going to give some remarks today at 9 o'clock, probably about to open his Yabber flap right now. Then we're going to have natural gas at 10:30. Keep in mind, if you play crude oil is going to be at 11 o'clock today because of the bank holiday on Monday and the federal holiday Monday. Crude oil inventories were delayed until 11 o'clock today, so that'll be on there. But the big event for today is Powell at 3 p.m. And then we're going to have monthly OPEX tomorrow and retail sales in the morning. So, not a lot going on up until Powell. So, you know, being what it is, uh, you know, there's a lot of things on potentially on the table. We'll look at positioning real quick. There are some, outsized positions at 20 and 25,000 for the 500 and the 501 on the puts. Right now, we are currently trading 512 basically. So this would be basically a 400 point drop uh, to get down to there. More than that, probably more like probably a 500 point drop to get down to that area. So, you know, could that happen while Powell's on the mic? It could. But we'll just have to see. And then for the week, you got 500 is still there for the Qs. Looking at the SPY real quick, you can see there's nothing outsized where we are. And then, you got a floor at, 546. Uh, that would be, you know, out of the question for today to trade. Right now, the SPY's trading 597. That would be a 500 point drop, uh, and that's just not going to happen at this point in time. Uh, so it is what it is. Looking at the cash market, 6,000 has been really where we're at. We're trading. You know, we closed yesterday at 59.85. We're down a few points, so let's just call it 55.82 is around where we are right now. So uh, keep in mind, 6,000 is still your bogey to the upside. If we get crossed over that later, potentially we could drive all the way up to 650, 60.50. Otherwise, just a slow grind down, and potentially we could even trade today 58.90, right? 58.90 to 58.70. those would be where I would be watching to see if there's anything that could, get on. That is, totally on the table when you have, right around 100, 110 points down if we do take a trip to the downside today. Looking at where we're at, and this is really, what we should start counting. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be the 6 day up here in this balance, and you can see ranges has narrowed a little bit. You got a little bit of a pennant forming, and normally the resolution out of there is going to be, uh, at least a check lower before moving higher if you are going to. But there is, I'm sure, a high to high sequence from October 17th to high, and then that would have to break. And if nothing else, uh, that should get checked at some point in time. Keep in mind, we are ahead of ourselves, but as time goes by up here, there will be a trend, right? And you can hit uh, that we're digesting right now. You can move out of there to the upside when we move, but we probably take several more days if that's going to be the play that actually holds. So as we look at real, same thing. We're just up in this large balance area. So you can basically draw, you know, from the low of this balance area to the high of this balance area and just expect it, if you get an incremental lower low and you get back in the range, it's probably at least going back up to the middle to the 1/3 of the bottom of it. Uh, you have to break below that balance low and keep going, right? To see something, more step into play. And, maybe Powell will be that catalyst this afternoon just to get the algos going. It's hard to say at this point in time. 21 1/4 points. Keep in mind, you only have an hour, right? He's not going to start yabbering until 3 o'clock. Um, and I'm sure there will be some, some whips on, especially in the last 18 to 20 minutes of the session today. Uh, so the single prints are holding for the Russell back towards yesterday's low. We could just be, consolidating on it. Keep in mind if we do check lower on the Russell, getting back up above uh, your milestones will be 2389 and then 2397 and then 2405 basically would be what you would check to the upside. We're in value basically at value area low for the NQ. We're in value for both the ES and the Dow. And then markers to the downside, if we do get going, right? Um, 20,842 would be, where your magnet draw would be on a sharp move lower, and then you'll have to watch to see if the ES is actually getting below 59.85 half. That would be your marker for that, and then if that breaks, you could get a tie down here, right, for both of these single prints that are a little bit older, down at 59.45 basically for the ES. And for the Dow, that should trade as well. You get 53,800. I'm sorry, 43,800 is what you would be watching. For strength to the upside, you've got for the Dow, you could get all the way up to 44,400 to 44,450, and for the Russell you get up to basically right around 2430 is where I'll be watching. So between now and when Powell gets on the mic, there's, still a large possibility, especially when we get towards the previous day's lows, that if the VIX had been spiking, that they could still sell this VIX up until closer to 3 o'clock before, they get worried about anything that would come out of his mouth. But I would think since the inflation reads have been in line the last 2 days in a row, and we only have retail sales tomorrow, that basically I think that everyone should feel pretty comfortable. So any shenanigans between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock today will probably get reversed back out tomorrow, especially if it's to the downside. So I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.